Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a product loop for e-commerce like this with Elementor and custom skins and widgets with EleBuilder. We shouldn't be any more than 10 to 15 minutes, absolute tops. So let's get started. I'll start with just a normal page, and I'll do 3 columns. I always like to sort of work with just empty columns, just so I have the final width. And I'm just going to put some margin. Actually, I'll just make it this a bit to screen. And in this sort of template here, we sort of have a spacer here, so for the to sort of give the height. And this whole image is on a column, and this sort of white area here I set up in the intersection with a single column, and these are just titles with dynamic tags. There's a little overlay as well over the background image, so we get that little gray, and there's some box shadows, but that's about it. So let's start with let's get an intersection and a spacer. Get rid of this one. One thing I always like to do, I don't quite like how Elementor just adds paddings to columns. It's quite annoying sometimes, so I always just put it to 0. I sort of like to set those myself. So we'll start with the background image. This we'll do, and then we'll just add some height to that image with the spacer. I'll just add in as well the overlay. It's too red. Should be good enough, and make this nice and rounded with some box shadow. Really crank this down a little bit. Cool. Now in my intersection, I'll just make that white straight away, so we have that nice little background. And change my border radius. Uh, 0 and 12. Get rid of this guy. There was a spacing sort of around this as well, so let me set this up pretty quick. And I'll also align this to the bottom, so they're all nice and aligned, independent of their height. And then from here, basically, we just want to set up our content. So I'll start with a price tag, because that will sort of like always sit on the right. And let's maybe add some padding here as well. It's always a good idea when you're setting up dummy content like this to be populated with dynamic tags, to sort of set up the real actual content that you're expecting it to be. And then I'll just add another heading here for my title. And then basically here, I'll just add a little padding here on the right so it doesn't go over the price, and do a negative margin so they align properly. This should be about maybe 80 pixels on the right. Maybe I'll probably put 100 just in case. Maybe not. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'll just add in my negative margin here. Make this text the same size. That's too much. Okay, look, this is good enough. It's not going to kill us. And we have the categories right underneath it. Etc. And then we have just a little button down the bottom. too high still for my liking. Cool. So that looks pretty good. In order to make this into a skin, we have to sort of turn into a widget first, and from a widget we turn that into a skin. So the process is still pretty much the same. I'll actually just convert straight from here, so I can just right-click the column and convert to custom widget, and I'll call this product skin. So this is now a custom widget, so we can start editing it here just by right-clicking and go Edit Widget Template. For skins, though, when you turn into a skin, it no longer shows on the on your widget sections. Widget elements. So I will open that in a new tab and edit from there, so I can refresh this window once that's all done. I sort of also forgot to put the no repeat on that background image. Let me just deal with this height really quick. That looks pretty good. Oh. Cool. Now it's just a matter of replacing the content with your dynamic tags. So to go from here, we go style, and this will be a product image. This will be a product title, product terms. And for the button, we have a custom dynamic tag, which will be the add to cart URL. Cool. And so on top of that, I'll add some controls to my skin, just so I can sort of have some versatility when I'm sort of setting up the post, so I can do it from the post widget without having to edit the template. And this also allows me to sort of have different settings, even though it's the same skin. So I'll set up the height of this. I'll just create a tab and put this under the style tab, and that will be on my spacer. And I also add the position of the image, just so depending on how many columns I have, I might want to change it. Cool. I'll add some little controls for the button as well, in case we want to change the color of it. And I'll just do a hover as well. I'll combine these two controls, so you can you don't have to change it twice. You can just change it in one place. Cool. And then all you have to do now is come here and set that as a post skin, and click update. Cool. Now that's all saved, I'm going to go back to that page that we were before, and just delete this, and then refresh the page so we can get that skin on the post widget. From here I can just drag in the post widget, and first of all let's make sure that that's a product query. That's all fine, and then now we can go to layout and change the product skin. And that's basically it. Then you can put some margin on top to make it look a little bit nicer. Maybe let's change the section height to default. This guy a little bit. Cool, and that's basically that's all it takes. From here, you could do all sorts of things like create a custom widget from the post widget and sort of reuse it throughout your website. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video.